What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Tyler_TCG back at it again with round 2 of locals. So without further ado, let's hop right into the action. On our left, we are going to see Dan, who is playing his Labrynith Dogmatic strategy, and on the right, we're going to see Aaron playing a less popular strategy in a Qliphort. Now, if you don't know what Qliphort is a machine pendulum archetype that had its spotlight time around the 2015 era when Pendulum Twin first came out, and let's hop right into the match. It looks like Dan has won the die roll, and he's opting to go first. I see about 4 trap cards in his hand, plus a Dogmatica Ecclesia, it's a possibility. And with Aaron, I see 1 spell, 3 traps, and a copy of Qliphort Scout. So right ahead, we are going to start with Dan normal summoning Dogmatica Ecclesia, and going to attempt to activate the effect of Ecclesia to search out any Dogmatica card. We can see either grab Dogmatica Punishment or Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, the Knight, so we'll see what he opts to go for here. Looks like we are going for the copy of Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis to have that built-in monster negation and make it 2500 body, as well as the possibility to boost up our Dogmatica monster by 500. We're going to follow that up with just a simple set 2, and it looks like we are going to pass here. And we're going to transition over to Aaron's turn. We're going to start by drawing for turn, drawing into a skill drain. That's one of the big strategies of Qliphort. So all of the Qliphort monsters, all the effect monsters for Qliphort say you can normal summon them, and they become 1800 attack point monsters with 4 stars as well. But pair that up with something like Skill Drain, that the effect turn them into level 4s and 1800 attack point monsters will be negated, so they will become their full attack point monster. Now we're going to have a Dimensional Barrier being flipped from Dan, declaring Pendulum more than likely. So now this shouldn't allow the Scout to do the search effect, so I do believe that is a misplay on Aaron's part. But it seems that neither player caught it, so I'm sure you guys in the YouTube comments will let me know. So we'll see. Aaron's just going over again what Dimensional Barrier does, and we'll see how it will impact his turn. Normally, it wouldn't allow him to activate any Pendulum effects or perform any Pendulum Summon, but I guess Aaron didn't understand that at the time, or, well, like I said, you guys will answer it before me in the YouTube comment section down below. But yeah, we see him search out a copy of Qliphort Stealth, so this will more than likely become a monster he's going to normal summon, turn into a 1800 body, unless he has the equip spell Sacrifice that says when equipped to a Qliphort monster, it lets them gain 300 attack points, and then it also allows them to become a double tribute for a tribute summon. And we're going to see the activation of Qliphort Carrier on Aaron's side. Qliphort Carrier is a scale 1 that allows all Qliphort monsters to gain 300 attack points. I believe it's all the Qliphorts have attack stat modifiers for a couple of them. We see the sacrifice come down to turn Aaron's Qliphort Stealth into a 21 attack point monster. And if Carrier is the one that lets you gain attack points, he becomes a 24 attack point monster. So we are going to see Dan look at his extra deck possibly to activate a Dogmatica Punishment to try and pop the Stealth, if that is what he was going to do. And it looks like it is not going. He's just going to read over the Stealth real quick to check its attack point stats, showing that it currently is 1800, but currently being buffed to 2100. Maybe possibly to want to send Elder Entity Entis to pop something on the field. But we just see Aaron going to set 2 cards face down and possibly attempt to go into battle phase here and attack into, he's going to attack into the Dogmatica Ecclesia to deal about 600 points of damage. And then we're going to see Aaron pass his turn here, and then it'll be Dan's turn. So it is being buffed currently by 600, actually, so it is a 2400 attack point monster. Dan will be taking 900 points of damage off this attack, and we will see what else Aaron has. It looks like Aaron's just going to set, like I said, set those 2 and pass. Dan's going to draw for turn, drawing into, I believe that was a Pot of Prosperity. Ooh, flip a skill drain on Aaron's side. So now the Stealth will go up to a 2100 attack point, 2800 attack point monster, now 34, thanks to both the Carrier and the Sacrifice giving the buff. So now that seems to be the one problem that Dan's going to face. How he's going to take out these huge monsters that he has. So we see the Dogmatica Punishment set. We still have the Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis in hand, and we are going for a Pot of Prosperity here. We'll see what he does. We're going to send, I believe, probably 6 cards to the graveyard to try and dig into something maybe like a Nadir Servant to set an Elder Entity Entis. We see Aaron attempt to flip over a Gravedigger's Trap Hole, but unfortunately that is not how that works. So we see Summon Limit, the Archfiend Trap, 2 copies of Summon Limit, a Welcome Labyrinth, and a Pot of Duality. So if you're Dan's situation, I probably think you take the Pot of Duality just to be able to dig those extra 3 cards deeper to find something to try and out this Qliphort Stealth, but it will just be able to become easily Pendulum Summon, but we are going to just add the Pot of Duality to try and dig 3 cards deeper. Possibly searching for a Nadir Servant, or maybe like a Raigeki. If he plays Raigeki, we see there's double Nadir Servant on the top of the Duality is pretty good for Dan. So we're going to shuffle those back into the deck, and then we're just going to go right back in to search, to probably grab back the Ecclesia from the graveyard, since Nadir Servant can add back from hand or grave. So we're going to probably now activate the Nadir Servant. Nadir Servant's going to send a copy of Elder Entity Entis from the extract to the graveyard to try and pop something. We'll see if that will be the case. I just need to make sure that Gravedigger's Trap only gates from hand or grave. I believe it does. So there's the Nadir Servant sending the Elder Entity Entis from the actually in hand or graveyard. So the Elder Entity Entis will be able to add back the Dogmatica Ecclesia, and then Elder Entity Entis is going to trigger to attempt to pop something, being met by Gravedigger's Trap Hole to negate the effect of the Elder Entity Entis and then deal 2,000 points of damage to Dan. So Dan's already down a severe chunk of life points. Now, he's under Skill Drain. He can't be able to summon the Ecclesia and search something, so he's just going to set and pass. So now we see a Pot of Prosperity from Aaron's side, being able to banish 6 cards face down to also dig for something, maybe like another monster, possibly. But we do also have the Stealth effect, not the Stealth, the Scout effect search. We see a Pot Qliphort Towers, lose 1 turn, Qliphort Disc, another Pot of Prosperity, as well as a Pot of Extravagance, and a Pot and a Summoner's Art. So we see Aaron going for the Qliphort Towers, and now we can use stealth scout effect to search something, and then we'll just be able to easily pendulum summon treat all 3 monsters for the towers, and then Dan has just seen enough. So we are now going into game number 2 here. So now, if you're Dan going into game number 2, you definitely want to keep the dimensional barrier, and I believe Dan said it's a one of, because the lady of the one of the labyrinth monsters says you are able to reset trap cards from the graveyard. So he'll just keep the ability to keep constantly recycling D-barriers is very powerful for the labyrinth strategy. But if you're Dan, probably you're putting in, I would think, copies of like Anti-Spell Fragrance, possibly like any back row removal cards, such in the form of like Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, maybe a Heavy Storm Duster if you decide to play it. I don't know if like I think I've seen Dan use that card once or twice throughout locals. It looks like he's taking out a couple copies of Summon Limit. Some of them don't really do anything if you're just going to keep constantly just normal summoning something and just beat. And because some of them says you cannot summon more than twice per turn, and a pendulum summon can just be any number of monsters. So you can just say pendulum summon, spit out your 5 monsters, and just go and swing for lethal. But I don't really know what Aaron would bring into this. I think he's just very confident with his deck going second, just playing all these good cards. So, all right, the duels are all shuffled up and get ready to go into game number 2. Now, knowing how Dan plays, Dan is very good at playing control, and we see a copy of Mystic Mine and Scout in Aaron's opening hand. Very, very powerful. Looks like I see Pot of Prosperity again. Yep, there it comes down. Pot of Prosperity just being able to banish the same 6 cards as last time, which is something I really like about these control decks that don't play a lot into their extra deck. They can pretty much just play whatever they need to. And just not be punished for it, especially when you have Dogmatic Punishments and like some of the best extra deck cards. We see 2 Compulsory Evacuation Device, a Heavy Storm Duster. So Dan decided back row removal. He'll be taking the Heavy Storm Duster, being able to pop 2 spells and traps on the field. But yeah, as I was going back to talking about Pot of Prosperity, these rogue decks, you can just play pretty much whatever. You can play like the Paleozoic Link Monster, and now we have a Pot of Duality coming down from Dan's side, being able to add Dogmatic Punishment, Dimensional Barrier, or Welcome Labrynith. I think I've seen a Deer Servant in Dan's hand, so that's also very good. So you probably wanted to take the we go for the Dogmatic Punishment. Very interesting. So my thought process is like you just activate the Nadir Servant to send the Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, from deck to graveyard to search out the Ecclesia, and then normal summon the Ecclesia to search out the punishment. And then you could take something like the Welcome Labrynith to search to grab you one of your Fiend monsters. But we do send the Nadir Servant come down from Dan's side. And what are we going to be sending? We are going to send the Ash Dragon, so possibly grabbing Ecclesia here, and then normal summoning Ecclesia to search out another copy of Dogmatica Punishment if it is played. Or maybe like Dogmatica Maximus or something, or maybe just like another copy of Ecclesia. And there it is, the Dogmatica Ecclesia coming down here. And we're going to be able to grab ourselves a second copy. Okay, Dan does want the second copy of Punishment. He does value that removal more than anything else in this matchup, which I don't disagree with, just being able to clear the Qli monster, so that way he'll only be able to pendulum summon 1 from the extra monster zone every turn. So we're going to set, it looks like we're going to set 3 cards, and we are going to pass the turn here. Or are we going to go for a 4th one? We are going to go for the 4th. So we're just going to send the 4, and then now resolve the Titaniclad, the Ash Dragon, in the end phase to add a Dogmatica monster. Probably going for the Dogmatica Knight. Yep, there it is, Fleur-de-Lis. We're going to have Aaron cut real quick, and then we're going to see how Aaron will be able to fight back. Now, I'm very impressed that Aaron is making such good use of these cards. And now we're standby phase. We're going to activate Anti-Spell Fragrance. That is going to put a big wrench in Aaron's plans. Not being able to activate spells right away, he has to set them for a full turn. Unfortunately, this does shut down his Pendulum Scales. And then we're going to chain the Welcome Labrynith here to summon the Lady Labrynith of the Silver Castle. This card is fantastic, guys. It says while you have a set card, this card can't be targeted by card effects. And then when a trap is activated, you can set a trap card from your deck face down, which is just a very, very powerful card. So we're going to see Aaron here attempt to, I think, set a couple cards. We're going to set Field Spell, which is probably the Mystic Mine that we saw him open. We're going to see him set probably the Summoner's Art I saw, as well as Pot of Prosperity, and 1 more card. We're just going to see him pass his turn there, and then during the end phase, Danny is going to activate the Heavy Storm Duster here to pop 2. So he's going to hit the Pot of Prosperity, and it looks like lose 1 turn. Another way of popping, stopping your opponent's monsters. When a monster is special summoned, it's automatically put into defense position. So we're going to see Dan set a Welcome Labrynith off his Lady Labrynith of the Silver Castle just to get more value on the next turn, possibly summon one of his Labyrinth monsters like Ariana or Ariane to just get even more spells and traps. So this is basically just a big control game. Like, there's not really a lot of OTKing. I see Dan did draw the other Lady Labrynith of the Golden Castle, or maybe? I honestly do not know these Labyrinth card names, guys, and it's definitely showing that I don't pay attention to the Labyrinth. But the Labyrinth deck is a very fun deck. Dan's been theory crafting this deck for a while now, and he likes how just it's able to control the game. We see Welcome Labrynith come down. Now, I believe this locks him into Fiends, but I'm not too sure. There's Ariana or Ariane. One of the 2 twins. One of them adds the spell or trap to the hand, so we're going to see which one he wants to grab. He sees the field spell, I believe it's called Welcome Labrynith. Or, no, it's not Welcome Labrynith. It's Labrynith. So now we're going to take these 2 monsters and tribute summon, it looks like? Or we're going to attempt to link some. Actually, I don't know. We cannot link some because we are currently locked out of the extra deck because of Dogmatic Punishment. I believe that was activated. I don't actually know. Dogmatic Punishment was not activated the following turn. It's only a Deer Servant. Looks like Dan's just trying to think about how to optimize damage here. It looks like he's going to the battle phase. He's going to attack for 18, 3k, and 33. So this is 43. This is a whole 6,300 points of damage on Dan's side, and getting Aaron very, very low. Very low. And it looks like Aaron just doesn't have a lot of resources to play with. I see 2 Pendulum monsters in his hand. Doesn't really seem worth it if he has like carry or something. And then we see the other Labrynith lady, I don't remember this one's name. And then we're just using the effect to set another back row, set the Heavy Storm Duster again, just to reassure that he'll be able to clear the entire field. We're going to see Aaron draw for turn here. He draws in a Qliphort carrier, a monster that would help, but we're going to see Dan shotgun the Heavy Storm Duster, is able to pop the field spell and the face down card. The field spell was Mystic Mine, as well as a summoners are being able to search him as well. We're going to trigger the other Labrynith of the Silver Castle now to set a regular trap. We're going to send the Archfiend Grief, I believe that's what the card's name is. So right now Dan is just in a very, very good commanding position from here. Don't really know what else Aaron can do right now besides just normal summon a monster and just hope to not. And that looks like it's just going to be game. Aaron just passes his turn with no cards on the field. He doesn't even want to normal summon a monster because he just knows it's game already. So now we're going to head into game 3 now with these two control decks battling it out. So now, if you're Dan going second, you probably do want to side in copies of like Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm if you place it just to remove all of Aaron's floodgates and possibly just get rid of any monster Aaron has. If you're Aaron going into game 3, I don't really know what you want to side in because you're playing all these amazing floodgates already going first, so you just don't really need to do anything. Yeah, to see Aaron going over his side deck doesn't really look like he doesn't want to put anything in. I'm seeing what Dan's trying to take out right now. Looks like he's possibly take out the Heavy Storm Dusters because Aaron is good going first. They're not as good going second. I see Necro Valley coming out of the deck. Necro Valley doesn't really do anything against this matchup whatsoever. And it looks like the duelists are ready. Aaron's just taking out 2 cards. I wonder what those 2 cards can be. It could be maybe his own compulsory evacuation device. It looks like copies of Lost Wind. Lost Wind is a very, very fun card to play. It's just pretty much acts as effect veiler for a special summon monster. And when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you're just able to reset it, but I believe it gets banished when it leaves the field. So definitely a big match of who can just keep who has better tempo, who has more card advantage here. That's just how you just play it overall. But it comes down more important when it comes to these control decks. So, but let me know what you guys think of this video, and also what you guys think won YCS Pasadena that is currently happening at the time of recording this audio. You guys think Shizu Tier Element won the event, or anything, or any fun like that? Any other fun rogue decks can win or not? But yeah, it looks like the duels are just finishing their shuffling, and we're about to head into game number 3 here. Aaron is probably opting to go first. And we'll see what happens here. If Aaron can just draw like multiple copies of skill, like a copy of Skill Drain. I see a Pot of Prosperity on Aaron's side. It looks like Double Dimensional Prison. That's a card I haven't seen in a very long time. We're gonna start with the Prosperity, just banishing any 6 cards that we need. It just works out sometimes like that. We'll see what he hits. We see Stealth, Summoner's Art, Skill Drain, another copy of Skill Drain, Scout, and another Stealth. So I think you want to go for the Qliphort Scout here, just to be able to search any monster here, really. Any Qliphort monster. You need like a Carrier or like a Helix. No, so we're just opting for Skill Drain. Skill Drain is a pretty good card. Not gonna lie, just being able to pay the 1,000 just to negate everything on the field unless Dan has some form of back row removal. And we're gonna see the normal summon of Helix, the set 1, 2, 3, and 4, pretty similar to what Dan had last game, where he just normal summoned a monster and set 4 cards. We see him shotgun the Skill Drain. Very interesting choice that Aaron decides to shotgun it. And now, is he going to chain that? He's also going to chain lose 1 turn. That's a very fun card. So whenever a monster is special summoned in attack position, it is changed to defense position. So Aaron is obviously trying to protect his monsters to the best of his ability until he can start gaining some kind of momentum. But with the Helix just sitting at 1,800 attack points with 4 stars, and there's a Ariana, it looks like we see a monster plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's definitely what you want to see when you're playing some form of back row strategy deck. You just want to see a normal summon of a monster and then just set 5 pass. And then now we're going to change back to Aaron. That looks like he drew a spell. It looks like it could be like Sacrifice, another pot card. No anti-spell for Dan, but we are going to see the Sacrifice being equipped to the Helix. And I forgot that Skill Drain's up in the field, actually. So the Helix is actually a level 6 monster with 2,700 attack points now. Very good, but the only thing Aaron has done, he's clogged his zone, so he won't be able to activate a Scout if he draws into one of those. The Helix will have to be removed from the field first. But we'll just have to see what happens. We're going to see Aaron is having to move into the battle phase here? Oh, yes, and then we did have a judge call about this. So there was a judge call throughout this match. I believe it was about if you can activate Dogmatica Punishment when the activation of the Sacrifice is there for the attack point modifier, so you can send something with it. So I believe they're about to call the judge, about to call Evan over, and then there it is, the Dogmatic Punishment being played to attempt to send a copy of probably Elder Entity Entis here to attempt to pop it. I don't believe that's how that works. I believe the Dogmatic Punishment has to target a monster and send something with higher attack points, or I'm not entirely sure. I believe Evan ruled it where you can send it, but I'm not entirely sure here. It does look like it's going to be ruled that way, so we will be able to send the Elder Entity Entis here to pop the Qliphort Helix as well as pop the Sacrifice. But we will get the trigger of the Sacrifice here, and the Sacrifice will be able to search any Qli monster, or any Qli card, I believe. We'll just have to see what Aaron wants to search here. But now Dan is locked out of the extra deck, and we're also going to be able to pop the Skill Drain with the Elder Entity Entis. So Dan's deck is now pretty much turned back on, so we are now going to be able to search any Qliphort monster. We're going to choose to add Stealth. But the good thing for Aaron in this situation, it did help clear up the spaces in his zone, so that way he will be able to activate a Qliphort Stealth if he has, a Qliphort Scout if he has, or unless, does this, no, Sacrifice is not mistiming or anything, so I guess there was just a little bit of confusion with the players here about what happens. But it looks like that is it. Aaron has not normal summoned yet, so he might be able to normal summon this Stealth and possibly be able to crash, but I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to end. There we go, we do see the normal summon of the Qliphort Stealth. And let's see what will happen here. Will he attempt to crash into it, or is he just going to decide to pass his turn and keep his monster around? And looks like he is going to try to move to battle phase and attack into the stealth. We see what Dan's going to... and we're going to activate the Archfiend Trap. I don't know the name of this card, unfortunately. It looks like it's just going to send the stealth to the graveyard. Now we're going to trigger the Arion, maybe? To draw a card, or is it Dan? Yeah, it looks like Arion lets you draw a card when a trap is activated, and we're going to see what else is there. And now, yep, we're going to see Dan draw for turn here. Looks like he drew into a Pot of Prosperity, and he drew into a Welcome Labrynith, it looks like. So Pot of Prosperity here coming down. We're going to banish another 6 cards to try and dig into something that we need. I don't really know what you're looking for at this point. Maybe another Labrynith monster, or just any form of like back row removal. We see another Dogmatica. We see an Ecclesia here. The Archfiend Trap again. Pod Duality, and Welcome Labrynith. I feel like you just want to take a monster at this point, just start beating down, just getting a whole bunch of damage on board to just make it so you can just end the game as fast as possible before Aaron has the ability to like start searching his Pendulum monsters. Possibly draw into another skill drain. Aaron's already down 1,000 life points from the skill drain, so we're now going to see the other Labrynith. I believe that is... No, that's the same one. I believe it's Ariana to add a Welcome Labrynith from deck to hand. And now Aaron does also take half damage because of Pot of Prosperity, so we are going to only take 900 points of damage here, I believe. If Dan goes in battle phase, we're going to attack for 9 and 9. Oh, no, we're going to be seeing Dimensional Prison flipped here. And then we are going to see yet another copy of Dimensional Prison, so Aaron is being able to clean up the board very easily, and Dan's just going to set his 2 and pass. But other than that, Dan really doesn't have... Dan's actually in a very good position right now. Sorry, Aaron is the one in a good position right now, just having the 1 card in his hand. Activating Welcome Labrynith here to special summon probably the Lady Labrynith of the Silver Castle, the new secret rare from Darkwing Blast. This card is just fantastic. Just lets you able to set a trap card from your deck after you activate a trap card, a normal trap. But it is under lose 1 turn, so and then we see the anti-spell Fragrance flipped on Aaron's side. It looks like Aaron drew into a Solemn Strike, it looks like. Not really going to help him in this situation, but it will just give him a chance to just set it and pass if Dan decides to commit something big to the board. So Aaron's just going to set. Dan's just going to read over what lose 1 turn does, because it's been a very long time since anyone has seen this card be played in the meta. And then we're just going to pass play to Dan. Dan's just going to flip this Lady Labrynith to attack mode and attempt to attack for 3,000. Aaron now is getting low on life. He's already down to 4,000 life points thanks to the skill drain he played earlier in the game. We'll just see if Dan will be able to close down the follow-up. We see Nadir Servant in Dan's hand. He'll have to set that first because anti-spell Fragrance, but looks like he will be able to clean up this game on the next turn if he chooses. If Aaron does not draw anything he needs. That looks like a spell, and unfortunately Aaron will just set and pass. See if Dan has anything proactive in the end phase. He does not, so we're just going to activate Nadir Servant here, send something from the deck to the grave. Looks like we're going to send a copy. It looks like another copy of Elder Entity Entis, just one of the best dogmatic opponent Nadir Servant targets. And yep, we're going to do that. We're going to send that Elder Entity Entis, and then Elder Entity Entis will be able to proc to pop a card in the field. After we add this Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous. And Dan's going to proc the Elder Entity Entis effect to pop a card, and we're going to choose that the middle one, which was the Solemn Strike that Aaron did draw on the previous turn, so that's pretty unfortunate. And we're just going to see Dan summon Dogmatica Ecclesia, and looks like he's going to attempt to clean it up, not before activating the effect of Dogmatica Ecclesia to add another copy of Dogmatica Punishment, just in case Aaron does have anything. I think that face down card is actually Pot of Extravagance. Unfortunate. And yep, that is going to be a GG's and the handshake. Dan just showing how well... Oh, he had 2 copies of Solemn Judgment down, so I don't think Aaron is really getting any form of value out of this at all. But this just really shows how Dan just knows how to play the control matchup very well, and unfortunately Aaron just didn't draw enough gas, and Dan just had all the forms of gas to stop his opponent from playing the game. But this was a very fun match to watch. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.